It's a vulture, and today we have a story to tell and quite a bit to show about this vulture.
I think the genus is correct. Let me see.
Okay, gonna have a solution at the end. So who is new? I'm gonna introduce Architekturzentrum Wien. So despite our better calls somehow being not very popular, we are now making some way forward with local communities. So we have the Architecture Center on the Arc, and the exhibition went so well, this joint activity, that we're going to do something together with a school in Vienna. So basically, we really start to go with the mobile campus to another city. I think that's really great news. And yeah, the museum is really very famous internationally. So yeah, let's hope that more is happening out of this. Gloria?
Yeah, so last week we wanted to visit this bird of prey sanctuary in St. Georgen. And it was a great visit. Like in that place, you can see around 18 different species of birds and 60 different birds. And so this place is pretty old. It's been operating for 45 years, actually, from this old man that is now working there by himself with his daughter. I think she's mainly managing the place. And he is really, yeah, he knows like stories about each of us birds, and so as part of the tour, there's also like a really special species of vulture, which I'm not telling you right now what it is, and it's coming actually from Tel Aviv. Like he has two pairs of them, and they are there just for breeding, because they are part of a big breeding project, which is managed by a woman, a Swiss woman in Spain, and she's giving like those couples in different breeding sanctuaries, and he has two of them, and they are gonna stay in his place for many more years just to breed. But they are super interesting to watch. And this sanctuary is also open for visits, like I think during summer until October, sorry. And schools can go there and take a tour, and we are definitely thinking, so we bring staff also to take school in there and do activities. So actually I can show you how this would look like on the Arc, because I have been setting up a community. Can I share my screen?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Wait. Okay. Share screen. Now this is screen sharing. Do you want to continue? Yes. Okay. Sure. Okay. So this is how the community look like. The first page. It has, of course, the Austrian name, Great Vogelstation. And as a motto, I selected something like save all the orphans and injured birds, because actually the birds that come to this sanctuary are also mainly coming because of injury, like because they get into like accident, especially with trucks, and they broke their wings, and at the end, like of course they cannot fly anymore, and people find them and take them to the sanctuary. And then sometimes they can be rewilded, but in our cases, if they are just too sick, they would stay into the sanctuary pretty much forever. And so the page is showing this, and like of course like the SDGs and learning path, and then here you see there is no commons yet attached to it, but it's into St. Polten, so we already have the common for it. And yeah, and this is how you see the facility. And then I created a best practice. so that we already have an activity that can be done and repeated for this sanctuary with school mainly. And so if I go into library, is the first one called Emperors of the Sky. And here you see as the main animal, it's actually the golden eagle. They have 20 years old golden eagles that grew up in a zoo, I think. So it was not able to be rewilded, and now it has to live in the sanctuary. But they can live up to 60 years, so it's pretty sad of a story. And anyway, here you see, so as a best practice, you can see, yeah, of course, like we actually want to do it as a bike tour where you start from St. Paul train station and then you cycle to
Maybe show the map, huh?
Yeah, I can show the map actually, yeah, it make more sense. So I'm gonna add it.
Facilitation.
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it here. Okay. So here, this is the map starting from St. Paul. It's actually a 10 kilometers ride to go to the station. And here we are like on the way you find 3 of our BFG trees. And then you get to a final point. And of course, when you're there, you can do, you will meet the main, like the owner of the place, which will tell you the story. And then children can draw in their nature journal in the end, and they also write the stories of the birds and see what they enjoyed most, and then cycle back. And I think and then if you go into the details, you can actually see all the species of birds that you can find that they are all attached. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. That's great. Wow. Good job. What's the name? What does the name mean? Like grave or Vogel, I think it's bird. Station is station, and grave.
I think bird of prey.
Bird of prey. Nice.
The predator birds.
I know how.
Hitchcock birds.
They have a really nice specimen, like 20 years old golden eagle. Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And,
What? How long is their lifespan? Like
an eagle as well.
Okay, so going back to the presentation. So that was our visit to the Bird of Prey Sanctuary. We're gonna return to this community a bit later. And now a quick introduction about the main topic today, which is school management. So obviously this is an organizational question. You remember that we have 6-7 concepts that really are the structure of the ARC development, and one is organizational. So I recap, we saw this also last month, the ARC roles. So in a concentric circle, you have the learner, guided, mentored by a facilitator within a community that is organized by a community mentor, that again within a commons, organized by a commons mentor, and then sort of on the top level you have the bioregion mentor, and we already know there are 185 bioregions on the planet, and those bioregions, respectively more than 800 ecoregions, shall in the long run substitute our nation states. So today we talk about schools as a very specific organizational form, and we talk about these 2 roles. So analog to the facilitator, there is the teacher, and analog to the community mentor, there is the principal. Maybe you remember when you're bored as a community, you need to identify yourself, and one choice is being a school. And when you are a school and you define yourself as a school, then you have, let's say, specific functionalities that make it easier to organize a school and a class. The main difference is that when you are organizing activities or learning progress in general, you don't need to sell tickets. So what we did in the past was basically non-profit and profit environment where you want to sell tickets. But if you don't want to do this, and in a school you definitely don't want to do this, then basically the tickets are missing in the events, and this required some adaptation. All right, so overview slide. If you are teacher and principal, what can you do? You can explore a commons. So this is a spatial exploration of a specific territory. You can discover biodiversity within this territory. So it's the species exploration. That we could also summarize as curating a learning journey. And then something that is already well known, you organize teachers and students, and you support and visualize individual learning progress. We could summarize those two functionalities as mentoring a school or a class. Now, especially this right part, mentoring a school or class, is nothing new. You find this on SchoolFox, Toddle, and many other apps and platforms that organize learning in schools. But the groundbreaking innovation that we present here is that all this is happening now in a different space. That's the left side. The space is not anymore the classroom or maybe the school premises. The space is an entire commons. So in the case of St. Pölten, it's 100 square kilometers. We talk later a bit more about how to create a commons, but that's completely opening up the dimension of learning in regard to space. And this is the main subject of today. So I'm handing over to Lucas.
Good, thanks. So maybe you could still show the next slide.
Yes.
Because I have it opened. So as every month, a recap of what has been done this month in terms of software development of the ARC. Let's start with the join activity. If you have joined the call before, you know that this has been around for a while in a beta opt-in version of it. So basically, if you wanted to use this new interface that people use to join events and courses, then you had to do it in the activity settings by hand. And we've been testing it for a while. We've caught most of the bugs, I believe, and we've translated it into the languages which are the most used, which is currently German and Chinese. And from now on, from a few days ago, this is the default interface to join events and courses for all newly created activities. So this was done in order to simplify the whole process. We have learned a lot on the way since we launched the ARC. How long? More than 2 years ago, when we had the first event. So this is a new take on how to make it efficient to sign up people for activities. Then the second and third and fourth point, which is the school management, class boarding, and creating and managing class activity, directly relates to what Knut was talking about just a minute ago. So maybe this is what I can now share my screen with. Desktop one. Yeah. I just clicked something that I didn't want to. And yeah, so we have added the tools to manage schools, classes in schools, and activities inside of these school classes. So let's have a look at one school community that we currently already have on the ARC. That's the Autoglöckl Elementary School, which is here in St. Pölten. And so the profile looks the same as for any other community, but we can see what is added in here is the classes card. And in the classes, we can see all the classes that have been created in this school. If I'm the principal, if I'm the community mentor originally, I can see the edit button in here, and I can get into the dashboard to manage classes. So I will go in there and I can see that we have one class in here where the lead teacher is Knut, and this class has so far not awarded any impact points. If I was to create a new class, clicking here, I will just quickly show you the interface. You just select the name, you select the main class teacher, who can then manage all the information about the class, add remove students, and manage activities. And then we have additional teachers who are then only allowed to create and manage activities. They cannot add or manipulate the students. Okay, so let's have a look at one of the classes, MYP4A, which is apparently a standard to name classes. We can see some simple overview in here. Yeah, this is all work in progress currently, and not everything is finished. Of course, this will be the place where the statistics about the class are shown in terms of how many activities there have been, how many impact points have been awarded, what is the current impact of the class, and just visualization of all the data that we have. So we can see some simple info in here, and we can go into students. This is a list of students in the class. We only have one here so far. For now, we can only add students by hand, one by one. For the next call, we hope to show you an upload of Excel and CSV files to be able to add more students at once without having to type it in by hand. Yeah, but it's also quite simple to add by hand. And then we go to activities, where all the activities of this class school are listed. Maybe you recognize in here this is an activity that is created from the best practice that Gloria has just introduced. So we can work with the library to create the activities inside of the classes. And what is the difference in here when we create a new activity is that the interface is simplified. That means you don't have to create tickets and you don't have to create questions. All of these activities are only internal inside of the class for the students of the class. So the form is much shorter. This is still work in progress. I will show it to you next time, hopefully. Then when you enter this can be shared with, for example, the students' parents, the parents of the students, or simply to have an overview of what you are up to and what is your learning goal. We can see that this has been created according to the best practice that came from the library. And if we now go to the dashboard, we don't work with bookings or anything like that. All the members of the school class are listed in there directly, and you can check them in all at once or one by one and award the impact points and the species and specimen. This also currently is still work in progress, and we can have a look at it next time. Okay, so that's it for the school management. Knut, do you want to add anything about it? Why we are doing it?
Well, I mean, schools are by default private communities. That's one main difference. And it seems that we are now reaching out really to schools. We have the offer from Architecture Center Vienna, which has been conducting educational activities for many, many years with schools to basically merge their expertise in architecture and architectural monuments with our expertise in nature monuments, and create at least one walk for a Viennese school. So that's a school, and we need to somehow make this make the ARC smooth to use for schools. The same cooperation in a slightly different age group primary school is coming up here in St. Pölten with the school that Lucas showed. And somehow at the horizon, it's also looming that we can have with an international school in another town in Austria, a collaboration. So we try to really decentralize and spread until spring as much as possible. And then another really good and recent feedback is that we had this guided tour in the Architecture Center with the member of the Austrian Parliament and educational spokesperson of the Green Party. So she's in charge of legislation changes in regard to education last week, and she really liked what we do. And she has 4,000 followers, mostly, of course, teachers on Facebook. She promoted our work, and she will also add us to her newsletter. And we already discussed kind of upfront who could be then joining. And I mean, there are schools. It's a very small country, but there's schools all over the country that are progressive. So who knows who is knocking at the door until the end of the year. So we definitely need this functionality.
Yep. So maybe you can now share again your screen to have the slide in there. I will finish off with the last 3 points. First is the ARC on Google Play. So we are currently in the process of putting the web app, it's a progressive web app, into the stores of Google and Apple. For the Google one, if you're interested, you can send me your email. We are in the testing stage right now, and we are waiting for the thing to be approved from Google Play. And for the next month, we are heading for the release on the iOS App Store, where this is a little bit more complicated. So after that, you will be able to use the ARC directly from the home screen of your phone, and it will be easier to find without having to type the URL. And yeah, so for the Wikipool and the Create Commons, I will give the word back to you guys, and you wanted to show.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so
I can just show
pull
you.
other species. Let me just close again and stop presentation.
I can show you how to create a bird species on the ARC. And for these, I go in here. Sure. Okay, so we are back to my ARC, and then go into Commons, Species, and I'm going to create. First, I might select. We want to see the bird. And then from the birds, we only have one type of eagle, which is the golden eagle. And now I want to add the imperial eagle. So let's do it. New species, it is a category you say is a bird. the family, it's Accipitridae. The scientific name, it's Aquila heliaca, should be, yeah. And the English name, yes, is the Eastern Imperial Eagle. Let's see. It is our ecoregion. Let's see what Wikipedia finds. Search. The first one. And here is what we see.
Brilliant.
So this is everything. It's actually a really long page and everything is in here. So I would say that I like it and I publish it.
Yes, we like Wikipedia.
This is what you see. So now, and now that I have this, I could show you. Would you like to do the other one? Or?
I think actually we have time. So yeah, why not? We have time. So I also show one to let this sink in a bit. I share again my screen.
I think I need to stop sharing them.
Maybe I can actually overwrite. I'm not sure. I share. So what do you see here? Okay. So I'm going here also to comments.
You don't see it yet.
So then I try once more. What's it now? I know why. Sorry. So actually, I don't know why.
Now we can see your desktop.
You can see my desktop. Okay. Now I can. Okay, maybe I get it now. So. So I go also here in comments, and I go into species, and should see now trees because this is our default selection, and I say here new species, right? And we want to have a bird, and we have a beautiful bird that's called Tycho alba. And sorry. Yeah. So I see I should have prepared this a bit better, but it's a barn owl and barn owl. So here you see the barn owl. Okay. Going back to the arc. The barn owl is, you see here, family Teutonidae. So I'm adding it here, Teutonidae. And you see that the scientific name is Tycho alba. And the English name is barn owl. And I go here next. It's also Western European broadleaf forest. That's where we found this tree, and we check out what Wikipedia knows. Tycho alba, search, and it's the first hit. And here we go. So I also like it, and I go on publish. Nice bird, no?
Yeah.
Like especially the name in Chinese. Who knows the Chinese name still? They're called cat-faced eagles.
Okay.
Mao Tou Ying in English. which I think is quite nice because it is really a different species of predator birds, but they all have a head that is really kind of a cat, no? And some of them even have those cat ears.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the anatomy is quite different. But beneath the feathers, the face feathers, they all look like birds of prey. All right, with this, back to Gloria.
I could actually now add them into my best practice because we are both present in the bird of prey sanctuary. And so maybe let's go on my library. Temperance of the Sky. Maybe did you refresh your page so that I can find the species?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, let's go into the detail. And here at the end, as I showed you before, is where I have all the species, and now I'm going to add those two as well. The last one in the list is not a bird, if you want to. It's still an Imperial eagle. And let's see for the barn is there. Yes, barn owl.
Brilliant.
That's it. Now it's complete.
So that's 18 new species that basically children learn, and they are really bioregional species, all of them. It's quite cool.
Yeah, I mean they're migratory birds. So
Well, yeah, actually, we had two birds that were raised by falconers, which are North American. but
Yeah, and I mean yeah. Also the vulture, is it? Would it come here? Is it?
Well, yeah,
Is it
it's
local?
alpine. You're right. It's not really local. Good. So back to our overview. Back to our overview, share, and so I'm going to summarize here again, starting to come back to the organizational overview. One of the organizational elements is that we talk about bioregions. And the last thing that I want to show you at the end of this beta call is the commons. So the commons is basically this largest shard of which the planet is made of. And we have presented last time on the ARC how you can create the commons. So it's not create a community or create a class or a school. It's about creating the commons within many different communities are active. And this is what I'm going to show you now on the ARC. So I hope I'm hitting now the right screen. Do you see my screen?
Oh, not yet.
It's black.
Yeah.
It's black. Interesting. Screen sharing is paused. Why is it paused? Share. How's it now?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we navigate to the left menu, main menu. We go to Commons. And what you see here is that we have here learning space, commons, ecoregion, bioregion, biome, realm, and both ecoregion and commons could be changed. So what I want to show you today is something in connection to the last call. Last call, we set up the ginkgo, a tree which we have not found as big friendly giant in St. Pölten, but I have found it in August in a German city called Esslingen. And so we have now 3 commons as pilots on the ARC. One is St. Pölten, of course, with most species and specimen. Then Valentin has started with Paris 19th arrondissement. Maybe Valentin, actually we add here Paris in front of 19th arrondissement, that people know where it is.
Right. Yeah, and maybe in front of it, because yeah, not maybe we're not the same. We were not the only city with arrondissement.
Yeah. And then there is Esslingen am Neckar. So I'm gonna change now. Okay. So I'm doing this because I have been there. Usually I'm not in the location, but what you see here is Esslingen am Neckar. Confirm. And you see there is only one species. Sorry, one specimen, but there are 108 species, because the species that we have created in St. Pölten are shared with that city. It's the same bioregion. But if I click now on specimen, then maybe you recognize the tree that we set up last call. It's this Ginkgo biloba, and it is now moved to the right commons. And Esslingen is also a city about the size of St. Pölten, a little bit more population, but the same size, also 100 square kilometers. So really a very interesting commons. And whoever is interested to continue with the creation of species and specimen could continue here. Okay, that's what I wanted to share today. Maybe also an outlook. We will improve how commons are displayed in future. It's going to look very much like communities, and that's going to be also, I think, quite a leap in terms of usability.